Find out more about how the Steelers season's going, what they're doing. We bring in Neal Coolong from a website called Behind the Steel Curtain here on Sports Buzz. Neal, good morning. Welcome to Sports Buzz.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I go to your website today, and I see your article up there. It's official. Blare the trumpets. The Steelers re-sign offensive tackle Max Starks. And he tweets out, "Good morning, Steeler Nation," with 4 exclamation points. "It is with great pleasure that I thank you for your prayers and support, and I'm back." Now, I'm making fun because I don't know about Max Starks, and I want you to tell us about him. But is this what it's come to for the Steelers, that this is supposed to be big news?
Well, I think definitely from a tongue-in-cheek perspective, the fact that we're getting that excited about Max Starks coming back does say something about the current state of the offensive line. But in all fairness, he always was a fan favorite. I know there was a lot of traffic when he was released earlier in training camp, and a big part of that, from what I understand, is the neck surgery that he was recovering from last season that put him on the shelf was a big part of the fact that he couldn't really condition this offseason. So his weight got up there quite a bit. He wasn't in shape, and it was just, the team wasn't going to guarantee him a contract if he had to lose 60 pounds, which from what I understand, he was up to about 400, and they want him playing about 340. So from what I understand now, though, he's back in shape. He's ready to play, and hopefully he can help out. We've got a pretty banged-up offensive line, and just about any help right now can do it. But to talk about Starks as a player a little bit, one of the interesting tidbits about him is that he's the only player in NFL history to start at left tackle and right tackle on 2 separate Super Bowl champion teams. He was the right tackle in 2005 for Super Bowl 40, and then the left tackle for Super Bowl 43, and he would have been a left tackle last season if it wasn't for the neck injury. So he's a guy who's been around the team quite a bit. Like I said, he's a fan favorite. It's interesting because he got franchise tagged a couple years ago and weren't really sure about the future state of the offensive line, and they didn't give him an extension right away. And there was, some reports, some word out of the south side of Pittsburgh that there were some problems with the coaching staff and Starks. They didn't feel that he was the right guy for the job, and he ended up getting a big contract anyway, and they just released him from it. So that costs about $5 million in dead cap money, and you bring him back anyway, and that kind of seems to be the rotating door policy that they've had with Max Starks. So hopefully he's around and he can contribute this year, and we can put a pretty bad start behind us.
Let's talk about the injuries, Neal. Big Ben, what's the latest with him? What's his situation?
Well, he's got a bum foot right now. It's kind of an aggravation of the injury that he had last season to it. The report was that he re-injured it on that second to last series where J.J. Watt of the Texans kind of fell into him. He looked pretty slow. He looked not to have the same quickness that he normally has, but he's also played with it before. They're putting him out there behind that same offensive line. So hopefully he's at least 85%. Otherwise, he's going to be in real trouble.
And what about James Harrison? What's the latest with him?
James Harrison, he broke an orbital bone in his eye on a hit from Texans left tackle Dwayne Brown. It was actually the play right after Andre Johnson's injury that cameras were on for 5 or 6 minutes. He's probably going to be out for at least a couple weeks. That's what Coach Tomlin said. We have a couple medically licensed people on the website. They say that's something that does take a while to recover from, and that's going to be a significant blow to the Steelers because his backup, second-year outside linebacker Jason Worlds, messed up his hamstring pretty bad, from what I understand of it, a bit later on in the game, which is why Harrison ended up returning. Worlds doesn't look like he's going to play, so the Steelers are shifting inside linebacker with Lawrence Timmons to the outside to replace Harrison, and they're going to play James Ferrier and Larry Foote back together again, like they did back in 2004 and 2005, and that was a long time ago. Frankly, from what I've seen of those two players, they've got some work to do as far as recognizing what the tight end is doing in the past. We've had some real problems with that, so it might be a big day for Tennessee's tight ends, but hopefully these guys are savvy veterans. Hopefully they can figure out what they're going to need to do.